Hello and welcome. This is Michelle Orwick in beautiful Orlando, Florida. And we are here on a Monday for Michelle's Magical Mondays. And I'm so happy to be here today. I just want to tell you guys how much I love all of you. We met a huge milestone this week, and because of that, I'm committed to doing this. I've made a lot of commitments this week because thank you so much for bringing us up to 500 views in a week. So because of that, have a lot more promises to make over the next few days. The first one is I want to thank all of you for watching and for sharing and for all of the things that have been changing and ever evolving. And so our first thing is our drawing this week was for those who've shared our video, and there is a lot more shares this week than ever before. So thank you, South Africa. A lot of new viewers from last week. So we had a wonderful turnout, and I wanted to thank you guys. So the first thing I want to do is announce Heather Roberts from Tampa is going to be this week's magical 30-minute free session with me. So Heather, you win the session for sharing. And with that, any of you who are interested in getting in on that free session every week, which I give away a minimum of 1 free session, and next week I'm going to be giving away 2 again, because you can do it in one of 2 ways. I'll have a drawing for sharing tonight's video, so don't forget to share this on your Facebook page, and that'll get you into the drawing. And the second thing I'm going to be doing is if you sign up for my website newsletter, so I've got a news button on my new website, which is michelleorwick.com. If you sign up for my newsletter, one person that signed up for the newsletter next week will also get a free 30-minute session with me by phone or Skype, whichever works out best. I've even been doing some FaceTime. So gotta love the FaceTime. It's super easy. Just like this Facebook Live, I'm loving it. And apparently you guys are liking it too. So thank you again very, very much. And so getting right into the meat and bones of everything, our card for the week is the magic of nature. And so it's really interesting about that is that this is extremely magical time right now, in that we are living in the week of the May full moon. So I have declared this Mindfulness May. And last week, the concept was getting mindful every single day and taking the challenge to either meditate or make music. And so I also had a couple of someones message me that they had made their 7 days. So I went ahead and agreed to do a session for someone who had done 7 days of mindfulness every single day, and that person has already been contacted and would prefer their name not be put up on the air. So we do have someone who has completed. We have 3 people who sent me that they completed their 7 days of mindfulness, whether that was making music or whether that was doing meditation. And in her case, she had picked up music and meditation, both, one or the other, every single day for 7 days. So go you. I'm really proud of you. This week we're going to talk about a few things, but one of them is when I pulled this card, I was like, yeah, nature. How much more mindful can you get to be in nature? So here, at least in the East Coast and in this hemisphere, we are going into spring. Some people that may be watching this might be fall. It doesn't really matter. This is still an absolutely gorgeous time of year, pretty much anywhere in the world. So what we're asking for you to do, and I'm wearing dragonfly earrings just to sort of reiterate the fact that we are wanting to experience the wonder of nature, whether that's getting outside and taking a walk. A lot of my friends this week here in Florida were spending time on hammocks. So what does that mean? Getting outside and just being in the mindfulness of nature. In Japan, they take mindfulness baths through the trees. They actually call it tree bathing. So there is miracle healing by touching a tree, smelling a flower, planting something. A lot of us are getting ready for planting and pruning. Florida here, it's pruning season, but up north where my family is and all of my Ohio followers, you're getting ready to plant stuff. I know Mom has been out there with the kids planting things all week at the Nature Center in Alliance. So all of you, what is it that you're wanting to plant? So this is a good place to think about the energy of planting seeds, bringing things to life. So you're in the mindfulness of nature, but you also want to be in the magic of what are you planting? What are you creating? What are you bringing in? So this is one of the most powerful weeks and one of my favorite full moons of the entire year, which is the May full moon. And it is, for most of us, it is on the 10th. Some people, it is just in the early morning of the 11th. But May 10th is the full moon, and this is also known as the full moon for Buddha. So we are looking at a Scorpio full moon. We're working on intentions. We're working on manifesting. We're looking at getting really, really deeply in tune. Hello to Puerto Rico as well. Oh, hello. So here is a wonderful opportunity for you to get outside, but also to get inside your mind, whether you're in nature or at home, and sit in the energy of what is it we're planting, what is it we're growing. We've been in so much transition energy for the last few months that it's nice to be in making things happen. We're getting ready for the next eclipse cycle, and that starts really right now as we're getting 90 days out from the next set of eclipses. And we'll be talking about that on different Mondays to come. We'll get more intense. But this one I want to really talk about Wednesday being the powerhouse of our year. This is really one of my favorite moons to make things happen. And so sit down, and I would love to see you sit down outside, catch that cool breeze if you get a chance, and feel the energy of nature coming in and what is happening in your life that corresponds with that nature. How is your nature reflective of what's going on outside? Is it a barren area that you're looking at? Maybe you need to change it. Maybe you need to change what you're looking at in your own life. How do you connect with what is happening? And with mindfulness, part of the importance is actually declaring what's wrong and making an action plan to change it. So if we're the ones procrastinating or we're the ones telling ourselves a story, what is it that we have to do to make that change? So we are getting out into nature. We are planting new seeds mentally and physically. We are getting mindful. So I'd like to keep the challenge up for those of you who've done 7 days, or someone who wants to start a new 7 days this week. Try and meditate, and if you get meditating in nature, you get bonus points this week. So get outside, do something under that full moon. There's nothing more healing than getting out into that feminine divine of the full moon. Maybe spend a little time in the masculine divine of a hot sunny day, if you have hot sunny days where you are yet. And for here, it's starting to get really hot. So get outside, get inside yourself, and get really mindful of what we're taking on. And that brings us to this week's book of the week, which is by C. Grace Lewis, from Conscious Living, Shortcuts for You and Your Family. So it's C. Grace Lewis's book, Conscious Living Shortcuts for You and Your Family. And this is a fellow Theta healer that lives in New Zealand. And I was gifted this book recently. And this was an amazing read filled with little nuances about clarity and very practical shortcuts right into how to make things happen. So we talk about that magical mindset. So how do we move from being in everyday stuff to the magical mindset? Well, in my life, it's a conscious decision. And so we've talked a lot about choice, but the next portion of choice is action. And so we're really in that action plan time frame now. So here we are trying to get everything rolling, and as we're making action, we create the law of attraction. And with the law of attraction, what we think about is what we receive. And so are we thinking very mindfully that this is how it's going to be? And I know, at least in my life, that I have attracted things in that I'm afraid of. I've attracted things in that were almost like a mirror to my fears, because I wasn't really looking at things from the other person's perspective. So as we're really digging in to our mindfulness, take a second and think about it from the other person's perspective. And we are always right in our own minds, right? We are always right. But what if you were to turn it around? What if that situation that you're so mad at, because I had somebody on the phone today and they had these amazing plans for their loved one, and they had this incredible set of things they were going to do to delve into this person's help them in their relationship grow, right? What happened though is they had sort of told them about this thing, and then they went away for a week and came back, and this person had went out and explored all the things that was on the list of things to do. But the problem is that the person that I was coaching had not informed the person of the plan. So his perspective was, she just went out and did all these things without me and blew all of my surprises. And her perspective was, he told me about these things and I want to learn about them so that I can better our relationship. So same exact story, two different sides of the coin. Is it worth fighting over? Not at all. So I really want us to understand that sometimes there's two sides of the same coin, and by getting conscious about it, we're actually putting ourselves into another person's footsteps and making the magic to switch our mindset to looking at it from their perspective. Another really incredible mindset hack is one revolving around the idea of manifesting. So very often we are so afraid of not getting what we want that we discreate it instead of co-create what it is that we're intending. So here is another opportunity for you to get really mindful. What is it that you want, and are you asking for it from the universe, or are you telling the universe the story about your fear? So when you start moving yourself into thinking about, I can have this thing, it's not out of my reach, today's going to go well, I'm going to get that new whatever it is, I'm going to manifest the job. So often we say, and even out loud we say, oh, I applied for 6 jobs, but I'll never get one of them. So you've just discounted it with the universe. Just discounted it. And there's this incredible scientific fact that what you say on the negative has to be recreated literally 3 times or more on the positive for it to become a solid new reality. So if you say, I want this job, but I'll never get it, you have suddenly created the need to re-say, I want this job, I'm going to get this job is mine. So see how I said it 3 times? That's the law of the universe, to try and restate it in a way that you're going to have it. So I'm not going to tell you that you won't say a negative thing. I'm saying that as soon as you recognize you've mentioned this negative thing out loud, or even in your mind, you're going to be like, cancel, clear, delete. Or what do you do when you have a cell phone? You go back it up, delete, delete, delete. Because you know how those spell checks come up with all kinds of crazy words. We just erase them, right? So when our brain says these crazy words, the things that we don't want, that the weeds we're trying to dig out of our planting field, we actually have to say, like, cancel, clear, delete, for us old folks that actually remember cancel, clear, delete. Or for those of you who are doing cell phones, just think about just hitting that backspace button and say, okay, wash that manifestation off, and what I really want is this. And repeat it in 3 different versions. I'm going to get this job, I'm going to have this money, I'm going to have this new boyfriend, I'm going to have a great day. So essentially you're recreating the negative thing that came into your mind. And I really want you to be very mindful that these things come in. You just can't help it. And so when it does, don't beat yourself up about the negative thing. Just say, I'm just creating that. That's not what I wanted to. We do it all the time when we're typing something. We do it all the time when we're drawing a picture. Oh, I don't like that line. We do it all the time when we're in our clothing closet. Oh, that doesn't quite look right with that shirt or that pair of jeans. So we discard it and we pick out another shirt or another shirt or another shirt until the perfect one comes up. So that's what I want you to do, is I want you to reword over and over again till it's the perfect wording for you. So that's magical mindset, but you're putting your mouth where your money in your mouth and your mindset all in the right direction, right? You're saying what you want instead of saying what you don't want. And a lot of us are afraid to say wonderful things about ourselves because, oh, that means we're egotistical. You know, I can't say I'm awesome and have someone think, oh, she thinks she's full of herself. Well, I am awesome. And maybe somebody else is more awesome. It doesn't take away their awesome for me to be awesome. It doesn't take away, if I say I'm having a great day, it doesn't take away your great day. So be great, be awesome, be happy. My new word this week is spectacular. So have a spectacular day, not just a good day, have a spectacular day or a magical day or a magnificent day. So start using words like, I'm going to find a magnificent job. And I know I'm kind of harboring on the job thing because I'm working with a lot of people trying to either change their career to boost up, or they're without work, or they're trying to get new clients or something. So I'm just kind of focusing on that. But it can work with anything. I'm going to find the most beautiful house for me and my family. I am going to find just the right deal at the mall. I'm ready to complete that book I'm writing. I'm ready to meet that person that's my most compatible life mate. And I'm ready to do it now. And I can't tell you how many of my clients have told me, well, I don't think there's anyone out there for me. And you know, I know that feeling. We've all had that feeling at the dark moment of our soul. So I'm not telling you not to have the feeling. I'm telling you to recreate it. Be very mindful when that negative process comes in. Be very aware. That's something you're needing to look at. Oh, well, why do I think that? Well, because, you know, so many people broke up with me, or I've never met that person, so it's hard for me to believe, or I think I'm kooky and weird, so no one would want me, or nobody would want me for that job because I'm too old, I'm too this, I'm too that. what you need to do is then pull those negative beliefs. And one of the things I do over and over again is pull those negative beliefs for my clients. And when we do that, we are going into the mental process and recognizing where it came from. Did it happen in your childhood? Did it happen when you were turned down for something? Where in your life did you get that belief? Where did it come from? And we get into this mindset of just going with it. Oh, I can't be successful. I've never been successful before. Well, I can't remember. I think it's Thomas Edison said that there's a whole lot out there of successes that just one more try would have created, or something along that line. We keep going. We keep trying, and the next time we're going to have that success. If Thomas Edison had stopped when he was having all of these experiments, what would we have now? So the idea is that we need to keep going even when we feel like there's nothing out there for us, that we can't. There's no can't. It's just we haven't tried this version yet. We haven't waited and we haven't created in our lives this thing yet. So I'm all about the mindfulness process of consciously allowing it to come at the divine timing. And what does divine timing mean? It means that sometimes we want it now, and our version of now and the universe's version of now might be slightly different. But if you keep calling it to you and you have the faith that it's yours, you plant the seeds that it's going to be for you, it's a whole lot easier to believe it, to feel it. And what does the law of attraction say? The law of attraction says that when we feel it, it can be attracted to us like a magnet. So that's why visualization, that's why wording becomes so important. Are you feeling what it feels like? So if your parents, for example, never had what you're looking for, or you never saw an example of what you're trying to manifest, it's hard to feel it. So I really encourage you to get into that place of daydreaming. And we stop daydreaming because we think we can't daydream because we're not little kids anymore. Well, we are little kids in the universal scheme of things, and everybody's played the you've won the lottery game, right? Where you've imagined what it feels like to win something, and I would pay off this bill, and I would buy this house, and I would do this. So you know what it feels like to manifest. You actually know what it feels like to daydream in the manifesting energy. It's that creation energy of what would it feel like if I have. So that's what I want you to put into practice this week. What would it feel like if I had this thing that I want? And it's so powerful because the 3 days before the full moon and the 3 days after are the most powerful times to energetically bring to you what you want. So that's Wednesday, right? So we're 2 nights away from Wednesday. So we have Monday night, Tuesday night, and Wednesday night. And then we have Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So this is the best kind of week to pretend in our mind what it feels like to have that thing, that goal, that imagination of what we're trying to bring, what we are ready to accept from the universe into our lives. So it's time. It is very timely. And so let's add that all up. One of the things you can do is go out in nature under the full moon, take a moon bath, and sit and ponder what it would be like to have the thing that you're trying to bring and creep into your life. Be very conscious of also discreating the things you don't want in your life by stopping saying them or cancel, clearing, and deleting them in your mind as you've said them. Be very conscious of what energy you're bringing into the world by essentially stating negative. Another, just rewinding for a moment, another thing to do is remember to see it from the other person's perspective. And perspective is really important because everything is just a perspective. I'll have one view of something, you'll have a different view of something. So I might be like, oh, Florida's so wonderful because it's so warm here, and you might have this exact same day be like, Florida's so awful because it's so warm here. So, it's a matter of what is it that is calling to you. And there's no right or wrong answers in the universe. So that's very profound to think about. There's nothing right or wrong. They're just mirrors. There's just energetic attractions to you. So what is it you're attracting to you with all of what you're doing? So think about, are you calling to you what you want rather than what you fear? Are you calling to you a situation where there's dissonance with your friends, your coworkers, your partners, because you'd rather be right than to be looking at their perspective? Huge thing about consciousness is understanding maybe they had a bad day. Maybe they're hungry. We've all heard of hangry. Maybe you just have to see where they're coming from. And that goes to everything from the guy that you run into on the street that's just kind of angry, or that car that cuts you off in traffic. You have no idea. Maybe they're trying to rush to the hospital. Maybe somebody in their life has just yelled at them. So what we'll do here is send energy to whomever is causing you an energy crankiness, like whatever they've done that's made you want to react to them. Imagine how you would want someone to react to you. So if you had a bad day, what would you want from them? You'd want compassion. You would want kindness. So you are looking as you would in a mirror. So let's just take a look at this for a second. So if you were talking to a person and they have really irritated you, think about what it would be like if you were the person that someone was irritated at. How would you want to be treated? You'd want to be treated as a real person. You would want them to ask, why is it you're being so awful? What is wrong? What is going on? So, and I'm 100% guilty of this myself. I've been trying to think about, I had a conversation yesterday that made me just really, really want to boil up inside. And I probably said words that I didn't mean, but I'm looking at this person and what they were going through at the time, and I'm trying to come at it from what I'm going at the time and see if there's some way to compassionately treat them the way they want to be treated as I would want to be treated. So it's a shift, and it's conscious, it's a choice. A lot of what we've been talking about here for weeks and weeks on end is choosing things. So choose to be mindful of this magical mindset of creation. So if you want to imagine something growing in your life, see it as it's already happened for yourself. So when you're thinking, I want this thing, I want somebody to be kind to me, imagine them being kind. It's a mindset. It's very mystical, it's very magical, and yet it's so simple, and we don't do it. We don't do it until it's sometimes too late. So really think about creating in your own head positive affirmations, positive choices, and essentially stories that are the best case scenarios instead of the worst case scenarios. We're all 100% ready to make the worst case scenario up in our mind. That's called a worry or a fear. But what I call Michelle's magical manifestations are best case scenarios. So on the same day I could be worried about this one thing, I'd be like, but what's the best thing that could happen? What could happen on that day that I'm afraid something wrong is going to happen? What's the best thing? And I'm ready for the universe to pleasantly surprise me with miracles. And miracles happen in very small ways in the beginning when you start getting a miracle mindset, a magical miracle mindset, because you have to have a few things actually occur. I see it, I feel it, I imagine it, I hope for it, and then it occurs. And then you go, oh, that's really too easy. Let's do another one. And then the synchronicities start rolling in. And the first thing you have to do is not be surprised when all these things start going right in your life. I am so unbelievably blessed because as I've been changing my mindset, things just seem to happen in a cohesive way. Even the negative things that have been happening here and there are an opportunity for growth, or sometimes an opportunity for things that weren't working in my life, even though I loved them and wanted them, to move out. So as we are getting rid of things that are no longer serving us, new things have room to come in. So don't think that just because you've started doing these manifestations, some stuff that you don't want might still happen, because we're making room for these bigger, most amazing possibilities. And that's exactly what this is. All of miracle mental mindset is creating possibilities. So what is possible? It is only our own brain that makes things impossible. We tell ourselves, this is what we've always experienced, this is what our friends have experienced, this is what our families have experienced, and that stuff on TV isn't for us. But I tell myself, if we can even imagine it, and I have seen my clients recreate their lives so that in 2 or 3 years, they wouldn't even recognize themselves, either physically or mentally, or even especially like if they looked at a snapshot of their life to where it was to where it is now. I look back 5 years ago and I cannot believe how much has changed in my life since starting to incur the magical mindfulness mindset. And so be mindful, be willing to create and accept miracles without denying them, and discreate what we've planted that are really weeds and really yuck. So just bringing everything back around, think about getting out in nature. That's your challenge this week, is to get out and get nature. Another thing to keep in mind is that beautiful full moon that's coming up in just 2 days. Get outside and see it. Spend some time really thinking about what you want and what you want to build and what you want to create in that time frame. And most importantly, discreate those nasty, naughty thoughts and recreate them with mindfulness, the ability to believe in what you might think is a miracle, and accept those spontaneous things happening. Accept those synchronicities without being like, oh, that's too good to be true. That I won't take that job, because what would happen if I left my secure job, or whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. A lot of times we ask for a miracle, it's presented to us, and then we're like, oh, that's too good to be true, so I'm not going to take it. Grab onto everything. Grab onto the growth. This is a time for growth. It's a time for creating. It's like pregnant with possibilities right now. We are moving forward astrologically. It's an incredible 3 months. Over the next 3-4 months, we have a lot of momentum. So let's make this time powerful. Let's make this time special. So just to remind you, this is Michelle. I'm here in Orlando. I'll be back here next Monday night at 7 p.m. bringing you more information, more ideas. If you have anything you want me to focus on, please send me a private message. If you've made it through 7 days of mindfulness or 7 days of meditation, whether it's inside or outside, extra bonus points for going outside, you can certainly get entered into an opportunity for being a free 30-minute session. And I also want to invite you to enter into my newsletter. MichelleOrwick.com is my website, and on that is a place for you to join my newsletter, and there you'll be able to get the first piece of anything that's coming up. You'll always know what classes and promotions that I'm raising. And my current promotion is actually pretty awesome. We are running a new website special, which is $50 off a 1-hour session with me. And those sessions can go anywhere from 50 minutes to an hour and a half sometimes, but primarily they're geared right about 60 minutes. They're on different topics, and they're catered to your needs. So if you are interested in getting some one-on-one, very specific session work, please get a hold of me through the website. There's an opportunity to book a session right there online, as well as you can always private message me here on Facebook. So have a magical, beautiful, amazing week, and I'll see you next Monday.